Diddy trial day 19 recap. Today, this is Tuesday, June 10th. So today will actually be day 20. We'll see what happens. The defense is going to do the cross-examination of victim number 2, a.k.a. Jane Doe. And we're going to see what happens. Now, yesterday, day 19's testimony, let's get right into it. Time to talk. Some pretty, graphic descriptions of more violence from Diddy, and the only thing that kept going through my head when I heard all this was kick in the door, waving the 4-4. All you heard was Diddy, don't hit me no more. My Biggie fans will know what's up with that. But that's what I kept thinking about, because she describes a June 18th nightmare evening with the diddler. And apparently things got ugly and he got into a fight and she called him a pedophile. He was on vacation. They were supposed to have some nice dinner together. He had been away previously in Utah with some other female, supposedly, and she got wind of it and she confronted him on that and then called him a pedophile, not for being with an underage woman, but because the woman was 27 years his junior, and that just seemed kind of creepy. Like, she wasn't even old enough to drink, so she must have been like 19, 20 years old, whatever it was. And she confronts him about that, and also admits that she slammed his head into like a marble countertop or something like that, and then let the drama begin. He chases her through a house and kicks down multiple doors, hence the Biggie line. He kicks in like a bedroom door, kicks in a bathroom door, wind up chasing her into a closet, assaults this woman, and they get into a fight, basically. They get into a physical fight. And we know from the history already with Cassie and from that videotape and from all the testimony from everyone else that he's a violent, woman beating bastard. So she just basically added to that narrative, essentially. She describes leaving and getting out and hiding behind some wall somewhere, and she hid there for 2 hours. What felt like 2 hours to her is probably 20 minutes or so. She hid for 2 hours, and then she came back. And she didn't call the police. She didn't report this to anybody. She just went back to the house. And then there was a description. He comes into the shower, and he basically slaps her like 3 times in the shower. Then they talk about a situation where Diddy discovered text on her phone regarding one of the male SEX workers that they perform with, that they use for their hotel nights of debauchery, or aka freak-offs. And he discovered some text about when she was out in Vegas, and apparently with another rapper and the rapper's girlfriend or the rapper's wife. Some have speculated this might be Kanye West and Bianca Censori. It would kind of make sense if you look at the timelines and look at where Kanye and Bianca were at that particular time on that date and in Vegas. So possibly, that's who we're talking about here. But the text sort of, gives the idea that that Jane, victim number 2, actually attended like a party, hung out with Anton, and went to see Anton have intercourse with another woman in front of the rapper and the rapper's wife / girlfriend or whatever it was. So this right there just moves to the whole, defense strategy of suggesting that this woman was kind of like down ass with that lifestyle, right? If you've been to one orgy, you've been to another. If you've been to one exhibitionist / voyeuristic sort of event with adults getting naked and stuff, then you've been to, like, it's not foreign to you. This is your thing. And she clearly didn't have a problem with it, and which is my speculation on the whole situation. I do not think that she was like innocent and doesn't want to do any of these things and it's all been forced. We'll get to that more though in a second. So there's that incident. But that same night, when he finds out about those texts, he winds up calling Anton, and he basically books Anton to come on over and to get it on with her, and she performs oral on him. And then she describes the situation as not being likable and, whatever. I guess she has her moments where she enjoys it and then doesn't enjoy it. Sometimes it's better than others. She actually talks about missing one of the escorts. I don't know if that was the same guy, if it was Anton or if it was another one, but she actually describes one of the, I think it was Don. She actually missed Paul. Paul's one of the escorts, and another one named Don. So, like, she describes like, oh yeah, let's get him back, or I missed that guy. Again, that's not a victim thing. That's not, I don't really like doing this, but I'm only doing it for you. Now, I said it yesterday, and I continue to say it. I'm not saying she liked everything. I'm sure there's a point where, hey, I'll do 2 dudes, I don't mind. But 4 or 6, yeah, you're getting a little overboard now. Or, hey, I don't mind doing XYZ, but wait, you want them to defecate on me? Yeah, I'm not into that, right? There's points where she's not comfortable doing certain things, or certain nights she's not up to it. That's true for anybody in any situation, whether it's kind of freaky, wild stuff going on, or it's not freaky, wild stuff. Some nights you're in the mood for it, some nights you're not. It is what it is, right? But it doesn't change the fact that she was consensual in a lot of these situations. And the defense today, when they come at her, are definitely going to make that case. And unfortunately, through her own testimony, that's how it appears. And that's what it sounds like. Now, she did take ecstasy. Diddy, offered her ecstasy. Now, again, forced her to take drugs? Are you forcing it on her? Diddy even makes a reference at some point, actually ask her if is this coercion? Which is, for the prosecution standpoint, could be made to suggest that he's aware of the fact of the legality of certain situations and is kind of covering his own ass. But she takes ecstasy, she gets down, it's interesting because she's describing things as like, yeah, I enjoy this, or I did this and I have no problem doing it. And certain things prove, again, that she's consensual, she's complicit, and she's down with a lot of these situations. But to reiterate, again, doesn't change the fact that we definitely have the picture painted as a domestic abuser, criminal sexual abuse, that Diddy is definitely guilty of all that. I have to keep reiterating that because I look back on my videos sometimes, and I know, especially in this Jane Doe situation, I'm making the case that I do not consider her to be a victim. I consider her to be a willing participant, and she's somebody who was in it for the bag. She's an opportunist, and she manipulated the situation as much as he manipulated her. And it's just a toxic situation. Like, how much you're willing to deal with, and that's how I see her. But it doesn't change the fact that I still think that Diddy's a bastard of a man, and I think a weak man, a bitch of a man. Let's just call it out what it is, right? So I just want that to be clear. None of my statements about the legality of this and the idea that the prosecution is really stretching to make this case of, racketeering and sex trafficking, right? Me commenting on that and suggesting, no, that's not what this is. This is a guy who had abusive relationships with women, and they used him and he used them, and they had all this crazy stuff going on. That's really all it is. It's not a criminal enterprise with tons of women and all sorts of things happening behind the scenes and orchestrating all these crazy events and making things happen in the interest of him making money or creating some sort of empire out of it. It's like personal relationships, and we're just watching it all play out in this media crazed hype situation. Trial of the century with a huge billionaire rap mogul icon in the music industry. We're hearing all this salacious material and getting all this stuff, and we're finding out that he's an abusive bastard. He's made sentence, has said things to her like, you're burning bridges you aren't prepared to pay for, which, again, he's paying for her $10,000 a month apartment or giving her an allowance of $10,000. There's a lot of things that she talked about. Talked about this situation with one of the escorts named Cabral, who apparently tried to blackmail her, extort them for $10,000 because apparently during one of their freaky nights of debauchery, aka freak-off sessions in a hotel, the diddler picked up the escort's phone and recorded some of the activities, the intercourse and things that were happening with Jane and him and whatever. And he used the wrong phone. And that's kind of sloppy. I guess maybe the drugs kicked in, whatever it was. He was just being, having fun. He recorded, hey, yeah, get the close up of that. And he did it with the guy's phone. So that guy called and tried to extort. She calls Diddy. Diddy she tells Diddy to get his legal team on it. Diddy gets his legal team on it, right, trying to protect the situation, which again, the defense can make the case that Diddy's actually tried to protect a situation. He wasn't part of the extortion situation, and it was someone else trying to extort them. And then a large media outlet winds up getting a hold of them, letting know they have it. And so I don't know what happened from there. I mean, we can only speculate, like, who could that be? Would that be Harvey and Company? Doing a lot of reporting on this, Harvey and them. And you're going to wonder, did they have it? Where is it, by the way? Which begs another question, if I may digress for a second. All this video evidence on iPads and hard drives and phones and all these things, and this guy, Cabral, having video evidence and trying to extort, and then some media outlet getting a hold of video evidence and them attempting to do whatever. Like, where are all these videos? By now, something should have been leaked, right? And I'm not suggesting to you that I'm looking forward to seeing it, but I think in the population's mind, everyone following this, we are kind of wondering. It's almost impossible not to have digital files leaked nowadays. It's just because there are so many backups of things, and once it's already out there, it's going to get out there. It's one of the reasons why when you get married and you're chilling, you don't do anything. You don't put anything. You just know better, right? You don't need. We live in a day and age now where everything is recorded and backed up to the cloud somewhere, or there's a copy of it somewhere. When you think you delete it, you didn't delete it. So with all of this crazy material that's out there between Cassie's vids, between Jane Doe's vids, and God knows how many other people, and between all the escorts and the people and the workers, that we're talking a long period of time, we haven't seen one single drop of evidence of some sort of video, even if it's like a little blurry or redacted in some particular way and blocked out. We haven't seen anything. I'm wondering when that's going to happen. Keep on the edge of your seat for that, because that is going to happen. We'll see. That's pretty much it for yesterday of what really took place. We had that particular situation. Also, she described being with Diddy in Miami when the Cassie tape, the CNN actually premiered that ass whooping of Cassie, and she was in bed, and one of Diddy's sons came and got him out of the bed and was like, "Hey, Dad, we got some shit to deal with. Like, wait till you see this." And then she went down to have breakfast, and they were all kind of powwowing and huddled together and trying to figure out what to do. And then eventually she was invited into that huddle, and she was allowed to partake, I guess, in trying to strategize the publicity behind this and how to react to it and how to respond to it from a PR perspective. And she also was, she saw the first draft of that apology, that lame apology video that Diddy ended up posting on his social media on Instagram. Now, it is interesting to find many of the people who had complaints about that particular apology video recognize the fact that Diddy never used Cassie's name. Like, he didn't even apologize directly to Cassie, so it was a lame apology. However, it was the lawyer, his attorneys, that basically prevented him from using Cassie's name because a grand jury was going to be convened. So it was like this whole thing. So it was a legal rationale for not actually using her name. So to Diddy's benefit, I guess, or his credit, I should say, this idea that he didn't use her name on purpose or something like that, that wasn't his call. I think some of us kind of guessed that already. But anyway, it was nice to hear and have it confirmed. So there's that. Again, something to also keep in mind, that she's still having her rent paid by Diddy. And Diddy's also paying her legal fees for her attorney, who's actually representing her, who's actually in the courtroom, which is kind of crazy. So I don't know how that whole thing works. I know she's up testifying against him, but he's still financially supporting her. I don't know what that looks like, how that plays for either side. I'm not sure. Does it show some sort of compassion on his side, or is it still show control? I don't even know what to make of that one. I'm not sure what the diddler is thinking when it comes to that. But yeah, she to me, again, strikes me as an opportunist. She keeps going back to him. She misses him. She loves him. She wanted to be with him. We're talking about like right to the point that he was arrested. Like she goes and comes. And someone's going to make the case, and I'm sure we're going to get that doctor, the forensic doctor, to come back up. I forgot her name. Burgess, I believe her name was, to talk about the victim mentality and the idea that these victims go back to their abusers. And we're going to have that whole narrative play out. Again, I believe. I just don't buy it in this particular case. There's way too much consensual evidence of consent from this particular, and financial motive from Jane Doe. So that's the way I see it. That's going to continue to be my thing when it comes to Jane. We'll see what the defense does today. They're going to cross-examine her. It's 8:58 in the morning in New York right now. So we'll see. This trial should get kicking pretty soon, and I'll do another update and a recap tomorrow. We'll see what happens. All right, for now, time to talk. Subscribe if you've not subscribed. And like the video on the way out. We're trying to grow. We're trying to get this thing going, trying to kick it out there. I'm trying to work on my thumbnails. I don't think they're working too well. I got to get things grinding. Anyway, like the video, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.